The Tusculum Pioneers opened up the fall 2021 season with a big win, 58-14 winners against St. Augustine's. Maurice Gamillion runs for 2 touchdowns and 101 yards. The Pioneer offense puts up over 520 yards of offense while limiting the opposition to under 120 yards of defense. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Staten. Pleased to be joined by Pioneer coach Jerry Odom, whose Pioneers coming off the spring championship year. So really football twice in 1 year has been quite remarkable for me to go see. Our first ever appearance at St. Augustine's in Raleigh, North Carolina. We walked in, we kind of got the big eyes as soon as we walked in, saw, well, this is not what we're used to, but as soon as we settled in, started playing football, it was just good to get back out onto the football field.
Yeah, I think, anytime you're playing a first game, you're a little nervous. And we've got some different faces and different names and some young kids. But overall, we didn't play our best by any stretch. I don't care what the score was, but we play well enough that we can build off of this and then know that we got a lot of things we can do a lot better.
As we go through this, we're going to go ahead and start bringing you some of the highlights of this contest. There's a lot of them because, 58 points, but more or less, and more so, this Pioneer defense played very well. Pioneers, again, 540 yards of total offense, scored the first 44 points of the game. Ivan Corbin hadn't taken meaningful snaps in a long time, and I think maybe we start there. Your opening drive, everybody seemed to be very poised. A lot of change on this coaching staff. Kyle Dickey through the game, which we'll talk about, was very poised and very calm. But the opening drive really set the tone.
Yeah, we go right down 80 yards, 75 yards. Ran a nice mix of run and pass. Even overcame a penalty, I believe. Like what Kyle did. I think Kyle did a really good job all night. They dropped 8 a lot on us. We had no idea what they were going to do. And I thought we pass protected well, but they rushed 3 a lot. And we were able to really do a good job of getting different guys the ball, trying to move the ball around, whether it be running it, passing it, whatever. And that's really what we're looking for is balance. And so I was pretty happy with that. And I think defensively played hard.
The opening drive for this Pioneer team, we actually see a holding penalty back us up, get a long down and distance, and Bryce Moore comes up with a great catch. And you're utilizing him. Yeah. We know this about Bryce. He does not shy away from contact. He's a very physical player.
Yeah, Bryce might end up being an unbelievable tight end. He's still playing quarterback too, but we moved him to tight end. We felt like that was what we needed to do, and super excited about what Bryce brings. Then we had some defensive touchdowns. Quahim Glasgow gets his first score off a strip sack from over there from Nelson Luis, who I thought played very, very well. I really was happy with the D-line. I thought they played extremely aggressive, fast. For the most part. I thought the DBs played well. Linebackers were new, and they got some big shoes to fill. I thought they played solid. They got some things we got to work on, but Craig Watts is going to be really good at will linebacker, and I feel like Jihad Russ and some of the other guys that we played at Mike are really coming on also.
It's just one of those things for this Pioneer team. We talked about how they got off to the great start. You get out 44 points straight away. Yeah. You start feeling good about yourself and staying on that defensive side. I don't know, the first 2 or 3 drives, you held them minus 11 yards. You kind of said, listen, we don't know anything about them. They're going to learn a little bit more about us, and you really confused them up front.
Well, I thought it was important that we just do what we do. I don't know how much tape they had on us, but we're going to be a team that's in a lot of different looks, a lot of different fronts, and we want to play fast. I thought our guys in the back end handled most things well. We'll see more of that this week with motions and shifts and different things. But defensively, I was happy with their effort. We can be a lot better. I thought Raynell Killian right here gets a sack. I thought he played really, really well. Day played really good. Dejon White played really, really good. I was happy with Day. He just got to play more. He only played about 15 snaps at 2.5 sacks. He started feeling bad, so we wanted to make sure he was doing okay. I don't know if he got overheated or what, but he's going to be a really, really good player in this thing too. So as a whole, it was a good effort. Like I said, I think we can be much, much better. I think you see Justin Parham scoring a touchdown there. We know what kind of athlete he is. We missed some open throws, but for the most part, I was happy with Ivan. He hadn't played any meaningful football in 2 years, and had a couple where I think he may have forced it, had a fumble, had a pick, but I think he can get better and better, and he will.
And I think from that aspect of it for this Pioneer team, the reason he was so successful, your offensive line was tremendous. And I felt like that maybe was the question mark a little bit last year.
Yeah.
But the good news is you went ahead with that spring. You played your games, and I think you evaluated what you had. But those guys got more meaningful reps last season, and they got better. Those guys up front were really good, and we'll talk about the running game coming up, but it really allowed Ivan a lot of time.
Yeah, well, they were rushing 3, too, so, I mean, you should get more time. They were rushing 3, and they blitzed some. I thought we played solid up front. Honestly, I think we can play better. Sometimes I worried that they played down to the level of who they were playing, but they gave some looks we hadn't practiced. But I thought we handled those as the game went on, and I thought their effort was good and their attitude was good. We got 4 out of 5 back with those guys, and I think Rick Gianatome and Ben Schellenbach are ready to take that next step. And then we added Joe Locke to the mix, and there's some of these other young guys that hopefully we can get back. So we just got to try to keep getting better in the O-line and be consistent. That group battles, and that's really what I want out of them. They'll have their hands full this week.
And that opened up the running game, and a running game where a guy like Maurice Gamillion, who's been here with Jerry, and has just been he's always been that guy that's kind of the backup. We throw him in as the feature back now for this very first game. Did not disappoint. The offensive line blew up some really big holes. But then Courtney Jackson and Reggie Kellum really showed that, they're going to be pushing him all season.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Go-Go or Go-Million, Maurice is a steady Eddie, man. He's a great route runner out of the backfield. He totes the rock fine. He picks up blitzes. He does all the little things right. He's that guy you can depend on. He's very, very dependable. And he showed that he's a good football player, and we've known that for a long time. But I think also, like you said, Courtney Jackson, Reggie Kellum, I mean, those guys got some real ability also. I mean, you look at that play Courtney made where he runs the zone and jumps over the guy. That's a 210, 15-pound guy. And had he not had somebody else there, he might have just kept right on running.
Right.
So, and love their work ethic. Those 3 guys all like each other. We're pretty deep in the backfield right now, and I'm happy with that. I think their receiver are probably the deepest of any position on our football team. And I think those guys can keep getting better and keep pushing each other, and that 3-headed monster is going to be pretty good. I'm hoping.
Those guys were great. The offensive line was great, and then you have the wide receivers. Where Justice Parham led the squad in receiving, and you got the one deep ball from Ivan. But everybody seemed to be very steady.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Giro almost had 2 touchdowns.
Right.
I mean, 2 great efforts on 2. Derek Wright was open a couple times, and we probably missed him. But there's things we got to do better. Sweeper is still coming off a little bit of a tweak on the hamstring, so we kind of limited his reps a little bit. Really like Jackson Boone. I think he's going to be a heck of a player for us. And then Tyler Burke gets a touchdown catch there at the very end on a scramble play, and I think that you see how Trey Simmons is going to develop, and I wish we'd have gotten Colazo in there, but he'd been sick and out a little bit, so we weren't able to get him any reps. But I feel good about that position, and then Bryce moving to tight end to go along with Schellenbach and Fudge now gives us some depth there. And we got some really good young tight ends, but I hate putting freshmen in there when you got an older guy that can handle the job.
Defensively, it's kind of more the same. It was turnover you. I'm TU. I mean, you get 2 touchdowns defensively, and it really kept the momentum going.
Yeah.
When we had the turnovers, and we felt like, we had the one back-to-back and the backward pass, but at the end of the first half, we get the turnover, and it was almost a downer. You go into the locker room, probably didn't feel good about yourself, and then you come back out and you get that defensive touchdown. You guys really set a tone. You lived in the backfield. There were guys that they just couldn't block you.
Yeah, we gave them a lot of looks. We've gained some depth. Quahim Glasgow's lost about 20 pounds, and he is playing really, really at a high level right now. Very, very happy with him. Then we added some pieces to the puzzle. Obviously got Richard Gravel coming back out with speed off the edge. Yusuf Lee is another defensive end we've added. We've got Ryshawn Glinton, who didn't even play, that we added. He just got here to go along with, the rest of those guys, Day. We feel like we haven't had this much ability in that group in a while. And the guy leading the charge, and I got to give him a lot of credit because I'm always on him, is Nelson Luis. Nelson's gotten himself in shape. He's taking it seriously. He's growing up right in front of my eyes. and as far as like being a football player and wanting to do the right things and stuff like that. He's just got to keep that mental attitude and fortitude going. But he's been very, very good this whole camp, and he's a guy that we can swing between playing a 5 technique and a 3 technique. If we want to get some more speed on the field on third down, and there's some different things we can do with him because he's smart enough to understand it. So we feel really good about that group. We just got to keep them getting better every single day.
Special teams, we'll talk about. I just want to get the Craig Watts aspect of it too, because he had big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
But I loved everybody that came in and played some type of linebacking position.
Yeah.
But Craig Watts was a guy that worked so hard for you and gave that effort. It's been a long time since I haven't said Ivan Hogan's name during a broadcast, and I didn't get that. But Craig really stepped up and made some good.
Yeah,
plays.
Craig's gonna, he's still learning that position at will, but athletically, he's probably more athletic than Ivan. Now, he's not as big, he's 205, 210 pounds, soaking wet probably, but he can really run. He will strike you. I think we got to get him a new face mask because he bent his face mask this week, if that tells you how hard he's hitting people. So we think a lot of him. Jihad Russ at Mike, Delonte Jones has really gotten a lot better. Ernest Johnson. I mean, we've got some guys. They're really happy. We've got 6 to 8 guys that can play Mike or Will for us. And that room's deep, and I think Malik Slater's doing a really good job of that group. They've got a lot, like you said, big shoes to fill. But I think the talent's there to push each other to keep getting better every single week.
Special teams for the Pioneers, just a missed field goal on the second drive. Everything else seemed to be pretty good. We got one punt that Cantrell's going to hate. Got wiped off because of illegal substitution.
Yeah.
But I think, there is some room for improvement there on that side. Turnover on that as well with a fumble on the punt return.
Yeah.
So some things that you can work on going forward.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean, and that's part, like Justice turned that ball over right before like I call timeout. I'm trying to get us, and we blocked that thing up. He just tried to do too much right there. Just get what you can get us, our goal on the punt return is to get ourselves a first down. If we can get one first down, that's one less first down the offense has got to get. So if we can get 10 yards a pop, I'll be really, really happy. I thought our guys played hard. Kickoff, loved the way some of the guys ran down. Didn't love the way some other guys ran down. So that's what you find out in the game. Like when the lights come on, who's gonna light it up?
Yeah.
And there's some guys that we'll probably have to replace, and there's some guys that we're gonna really, push to be better. But then, I thought Des Arthur played really well. Wichard is a freak show running down on kickoff. We'll have to change where we put him so they can't double team him. But we got good effort out of those guys. Extra point field goal stuff was fine except for one just terrible kick. I mean, it was a good hold. It was good. He just mishit it. But the rest of it was fine. Kickoff return, we got to be a little more dynamic there, and part of it is we can't stop in the hole on our returners where it muddies it up a little bit. On our turn. So we got a ton of stuff to work on. That's why the old saying is, between the first game you improve the most. So that's got to be our goal.
Pioneers, for the first time in 5 opening games to start the season, including last spring, come up with the win, ending that 5-game slide. But it is also now a 5-game winning streak for the Pioneers. That's the first time in the last 6 seasons to the 14 and 15 campaign. Pioneers open up 1-0 with the win against St. Augustine's out of the CIAA, where the Pioneers now go 8-4 all time against them. And now they get a chance to open up another CIAA at home and Shawan. And Shawan will come in here with a win against the Mars Hill Lions. And you talked about, we were talking on the phone how, we know more about this group probably last week ahead of the St. Augs game than we do St. Augs. But this will be a good side coming.
They're a good football team. They were picked second in the North in the CIAA, and big reason their quarterback is extremely good. Bryce Witt, 6'4", 235. They run him. He can throw. He's their all-time leading passer. He's all-time leading touchdown guy. They've got 2 really solid receivers, in number 1 and number 2. They're solid up front. Had a running back that ran for 75 yards, I think, or so, or 70 yards against Mars Hill. They got the CIAA Player of the Week. On defense, they're a lot of one-high stuff, but boy, they're good up front. I mean, they got a number 3 that's 6'4", 290. That's a really, really good D tackle. That we're, and then they got a defensive end that I like, and they got a JU transfers, from that's a D tackle. I mean, this is going to be a much, much stiffer test. We're going to have to play very well to win this football game, and when you get into a game like this, you're trying to win by 1 or 100. It doesn't matter. You're just trying to win the game, one more point than them. And we're going to have to play a lot better in order to beat this football team. We got a challenge ahead of us. I think they're very, very well coached. Schematically, they do some really good things. And, we've got to come with our A game, on our opener at 1 o'clock there, here this Saturday.
Chance to be in front of the home faithful as well, Patriots Day. Hopefully you'll have the opportunity to come out this coming Saturday to watch the Pioneers in the home opener. It'll be the first of 3 consecutive home games for the Pioneers, a 6-game home slate for Tusculum this year, but don't miss out on the very first one. Good opening win.
We'll take it. A W is a W, right? We hadn't had one of those as an opener in a while, and I think you learned enough about yourself to get better, and that's really what you're looking for. Didn't get a whole lot of guys dinged up too bad. We got a few injuries, but I think it's one of those things where we got to grow and get better, and I'm happy with it.
And the 58 points, incidentally, was the most points scored for the Pioneers in a season opener against a non-Division II team. So the only Division II team they've ever put up that many points against in a home opener. He's Pioneer coach Jerry Odom. The Pioneers kick off with Shawan this coming Saturday. Join us on the Pioneer Sports Network through TusculumPioneers.com, where you can watch the game live or listen online through TusculumPioneers.com and just on the traditional radio. Because games are actually played inside radio sets, right? That's 95.5 FM WSMG. Coach Jerry Odom and all the folks here behind the scenes, I'm Brian Staten. And until next week, go Pioneers.